For years, people focused on stocks, businesses, and digital assets as the fastest ways to build wealth. But land is quietly becoming one of the most valuable assets in the modern world. Unlike money that can be printed, or digital trends that can disappear overnight, land is limited, physical, and impossible to create more of. As populations grow, cities expand, resources become more important, and housing demand keeps rising. Ownership of valuable land is gaining long-term strategic importance far beyond just real estate investing. Today we will talk about why land is becoming the ultimate asset, so before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, also subscribe to my channel. 10. Most people focus on money, while wealthy people focus on ownership. For most people, financial success is measured by income. A higher salary, a bigger paycheck, or a better job feels like the ultimate goal. But many wealthy individuals think differently. Instead of focusing only on earning money, they focus on owning assets, especially assets that become more valuable as time passes. And among all assets, land has always held a special position. Unlike cash, land cannot be printed. Unlike companies, it cannot disappear overnight. Unlike digital trends, it exists physically in the real world with limited supply. This is why land has quietly remained one of the most powerful wealth-building tools throughout history, and why many investors increasingly believe it may become one of the most important assets of the future. 9. They're not making more land. One of the simplest but most powerful truths about land is scarcity. Human populations continue growing. Cities continue expanding. Demand for housing, infrastructure, agriculture, and commercial space keeps increasing. But the amount of usable land remains limited. This imbalance between growing demand and fixed supply creates long-term upward pressure on valuable land over time. The more population grows and urban development spreads, the more strategically important certain locations become. This is one reason landowners often become wealthier without actively doing much at all. Scarcity itself increases value over time. 8. Land benefits from population growth automatically. As populations increase, societies need more housing, roads, businesses, warehouses, farms, and services. All of these depend on land. This means land often benefits naturally from economic expansion. Areas that once seemed undeveloped or unimportant can become extremely valuable decades later because growth eventually reaches them. History is filled with examples of ordinary land turning into major wealth simply because cities expanded, infrastructure improved, or migration patterns changed over time. 7. Inflation makes physical assets more valuable. Inflation reduces purchasing power over time, which means cash slowly loses value if it sits idle. Physical assets like land often respond differently. As the cost of construction, housing, labor, and materials rises, land values frequently rise alongside them. This is one reason investors increasingly move toward hard assets during uncertain economic periods. Land represents something tangible in a world where currencies, markets, and financial systems can feel unstable. For many investors, owning land feels safer psychologically than holding large amounts of cash vulnerable to inflation. 6. Land creates multiple wealth opportunities at once. One powerful aspect of land is flexibility. Land can generate wealth in many different ways depending on location and usage. It can produce rental income, farming revenue, development opportunities, commercial projects, resource extraction, or long-term appreciation. Unlike some investments limited to one purpose, land often creates optionality. Owners may hold it, develop it, lease it, or sell it later at higher values. This flexibility makes land attractive because its value is not tied to only one economic outcome. 5. Wealthy investors often buy land before everyone else notices. One major difference between ordinary buyers and experienced investors is timing. Wealthy investors often buy land long before areas become popular or fully developed. They think years, or even decades, ahead. They study infrastructure projects, population trends, transportation routes, business expansion, and migration patterns. They understand something important: value is often created before the public fully recognizes it. This is why some of the largest fortunes in history came not from buying already expensive assets, but from controlling land before demand exploded. 4. Land ownership creates long-term control. Owning land provides something deeper than price appreciation. It provides control. Governments, corporations, and individuals all ultimately depend on physical space to operate. This means strategically located land becomes increasingly powerful over time. Whether for housing, logistics, agriculture, renewable energy, or business expansion, land ownership creates leverage because future activity often depends on access to space. This is why land has historically been deeply connected to power, influence, and long-term wealth preservation. 3. Technology is increasing the value of certain land even more. Many people assume digital economies make physical assets less important. But interestingly, technology is actually increasing the value of specific types of land. Data centers, renewable energy infrastructure, logistics hubs, warehouses, industrial expansion, and population migration patterns all increase demand for strategically positioned land. As economies digitize, physical infrastructure still needs somewhere to exist. And increasingly, valuable land becomes tied not only to housing, but also to technological and economic systems themselves.
2. Land is one of the few assets people rarely sell regret-free. Many investors who sell stocks or businesses eventually move on emotionally. But land often creates a different feeling. Throughout history, people frequently regret selling valuable land too early, because its long-term appreciation can become extraordinary over decades. This happens because land compounds value quietly. What feels ordinary today may become strategically important years later as cities expand and demand increases. The biggest fortunes in land are often built not through constant trading but through long-term ownership and patience. 1. The real reason land is becoming the ultimate asset: scarcity plus time plus human expansion. The deeper truth about land is that it benefits from...
What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.